News.
Okay, we'll start with this. Adrien Broner reacted badly to being told he got too comfortable streaming and gave up training too easily when interacting with fans on KickChat.
Kick rocks.
AB gave up less than 3 weeks into a 45-day warehouse training camp and is no longer making a boxing comeback.
Who the fuck was he gonna come back to fight anyway? And at what weight? What, he was gonna get back down to 147?
Brian Garcia would have been the best choice, not based on boxing ability or demand in the sport of boxing, but outside of it. Because they're both basically influencers now, moonlighting as boxers. So just based on that audience, not necessarily boxing fans, that would have been the ideal choice for Adrien Broner. Though, of course, you had to have been missing a few brain cells to really think that AB was going to get it together. Because before the streaming thing...
Streaming is his bread and butter now, not boxing.
You think a lard ass in his mid-30s like Adrien Broner wants to go back to killing himself to make weight, getting punched in his face, right in his face, to make a living, when he can just put up a tripod and record himself going on another alcoholic binge?
According to him, he's back to being a millionaire, based on what he's been making off streaming.
I saw there was an opportunity there for Adrien Broner to make some money with Ryan Garcia, though I was never fully convinced that he was going to do it. Put simply, I think you've got to be missing a few brain cells to believe in AB when AB doesn't believe in AB. What is it about this wino that people like so much?
That he's a degenerate like them. Because it's only other degenerates supporting Adrien.
I don't look at him as a tragic figure so much as a fuck-up. This guy fucked up a lot of money, fucked off a lot of money, so I'm supposed to feel sorry for him when it's gone?
He's burned through more money than most Americans are going to see in their entire lifetime on pure bullshit.
Bullshit. So I'm supposed to feel sorry for him. He's supposed to be making millions more as a streamer, so just stick to streaming. Do it while you can, because nothing lasts forever. I remember all those influencers that got popular off of Vine more than a decade ago when Vine was still a thing. Many of which,
Do it for the vine.
Some transitioned into other fields and found success, while others faded into obscurity. Streaming culture, I've no doubts, will be no different. It's a thing right now that the younger generation is interested in, but they've got the attention span of the common housefly. It won't be that long before they get bored. Bored of streaming, bored of Adrien and his hijinks.
A part of the appeal, what's supposed to make him interesting, is he's supposed to be some sort of high-level boxer. How long do you think it'll take for them to catch on?
A part of what's supposed to make Adrien an interesting character is his association to boxing, but if at this point the boxing part of it is done, what else is there to keep him interesting? I know he's kind of funny.
Sort of.
Dean the Great is no different. At this point, he's a part-time boxer if he's any kind of boxer at all. I think he's making so much money from streaming. Why would you go back to torturing your body?
To get beat the fuck up in a boxing ring? Now, Adrien, obviously, has competed at a higher level than Dean the Great ever did, but it's the same for him. If you're making money from streaming, why would you go back to boxing?
If Adrien has any faculties left, he will parlay his social media persona in tandem with his boxing career to influencer boxing. He's done as a serious pugilist, but maybe as a circus act, he can keep it going.
Maybe he can get Jake Paul to give him a call. If he gets popular enough off this streaming thing, maybe he can beat Jake Paul's next opponent. Jake was about to fight Gervonta.
Gervonta's smaller than Adrien. Maybe, just maybe. I'm not really that interested.
What about Shakur Stevenson? When will he actually be ordered to fight his mandatory at 147 pounds? He fought in January. Under the rulings, when do you guys, say, all right, Shakur, you're now up for your mandatory?
Excuse me, 9 months after winning the title. So basically, he fought in January. You got February, Marzo, Abril, Mayo, Junio, Julio, Agosto, Septiembre. By November. By November. So that means that now in September, I have to send Shakur a letter, like I did with Haney. Hey, champ, you got your mandatories coming up. You got to discharge the mandatory.
So it is possible that we could, and again, this is possible. That isn't everyone has to ruling, but it is possible come October, November we could see Raymond Morataya is the mandatory for Shakur's WBO belt. That is possible.
Theoretically, we will have to see. I can't answer that question at this time. It would be irresponsible on my behalf.
That could be the way it happens. Because currently, the number one contender via the WBO at 140 is Emiliano Vargas, and nobody thinks that young Emiliano is ready for a fight with Shakur Stevenson. Ranked right behind him is Lindolfo Delgado, except Lindolfo is also going the IBF route and is said to be facing Artur Biarzlanov for the vacant red belt. It's not going to be him. Oscar Duarte is rumored to be challenging Gary Antoine Russell for his WBA.
So it's not going to be him.
Ernesto Mercado, no relation to Walter Mercado.
I don't think it's going to be him.
Raymond Murataya fought this past weekend, and they are already courting the idea of moving up to 140 pounds. So I could see him being installed as the number one contender via the WBO.
That could happen.
Separately, there has been loose talk of a fight between Shakur and Rayo Valenzuela, since they're both on the Zuffa side of things, going back and forth with each other. Rayo said, calling Lamont Roach the best lightweight after a draw with Pitbull is wild. I beat Pitbull, and I'm coming off a knockout win over De Los Santos. If you really want to prove who's the best, let's fight. To which Shakur responded, I understand you want a payday, and I respect it. Once again, I would take you more serious if Gary didn't beat the dog shit out of you. Did you win a round? And De Los Santos didn't fight more than one round in 3 years. I was not impressed.
Adrien De Los Santos, a common opponent between them, where Shakur Stevenson was running around like a chicken with his head cut off from that fighter. In Rayo's last fight, he did knock him out.
Yeah, but that's after Edwin beat him.
The point is, Shakur Stevenson doesn't have a dance partner right now. Things fell through with Devin Haney, and they don't look optimistic. All this shit about a catch weight. Shakur Stevenson is the WBO's 140-pound champion, but at Zuffa, there is not a 140-pound division. The nearest Zuffa fighter that Shakur can fight is Rayo.
Do you see what I mean about fighters in this era having too much agency, too much autonomy? What is Shakur Stevenson doing right now except wasting time? You don't want to fight Rayo.
Why not? You don't seem to be fighting anybody else.
Zuffa Boxing kicked out a lot of money to bring Shakur Stevenson over to their platform, but for what?
So he can turn his nose up at everybody?
I'm not even all that pressed to see Shakur Stevenson fight again, but just evaluating the situation, the millions upon millions of dollars that Zuffa now has to kick out for signing Shakur versus what they're getting back. What are they getting back?
It's not the flex that it's made out to be. Bringing him into the fray, he was a bit of a headache over there at Top Rank. Now he's your problem.
And who is he supposed to be fighting when fall gets here? A mandatory? How many millions upon millions of dollars are you about to fuck off so that he can fight a mandatory, or worse, so that he can fight Rayo?
I ain't got nothing against Rayo, but that's not exactly a super fight, and for what you're paying Shakur, you would think that it were.
It's either going to have to require Shakur to drop his brown belt and move back down to lightweight, or have Rayo move back up to super lightweight. Shakur Stevenson is not so big a draw, so beloved by the fans, that he should have this much agency already.
And making this much money for tickets and pay-per-views that he doesn't actually sell.
They all want to be mini Canelos is what I see. All these kids.
Mini Mayweathers.
Not having the drawing power of either of them, but the millions upon millions of dollars that get wasted just to get them to do anything. It isn't worth it.
It's what speaks to the logistical problem I keep harping about when it comes to Zuffa. You can pay these guys massive dollar amounts to sign to you, but after that,
what do you do?
What the fuck are you supposed to do with them? Who the fuck is Shakur Stevenson supposed to fight, and how much is that going to cost you?
It was actually the Gooch, a friend of the channel, who said, if anything, these fighters with these astronomical demands should be forced to sit out and phased out by the industry itself. That you want so much money to do anything, nobody should kick it out because you're not worth it.
He's blaming the promoters and the networks for the inflation the boxing space has been seeing. To some degrees, right.
It's not better for the industry that Shakur Stevenson, a guy who doesn't really have that many fans, and he doesn't have a fan-friendly style, is getting this much money because as a result, his fights are behind a paywall where they should not be.
Well, he's gotta get paid. Boxing is a dangerous sport.
It's that dangerous. Go work for the post office. You won't find a sport more than the sport of boxing where everybody fancies themselves a business guy, always harping about the business when it's simple. If they do a fight for you and it costs X amount of dollars, at minimum, you're supposed to be able to bring X back. And I don't think Shakur can. I don't think a lot of these guys can.
So that if they can't, stop paying them.
It's just resulting in more fights ending up on pay-per-view where they shouldn't, because more people, they're not gonna buy them.
In fairness, Zuffa doesn't do pay-per-views. Whatever Shakur Stevenson does, it'll land on Paramount.
Perhaps. But that doesn't take away from the fact they're burning through a lot of money for what is a boring fighter, a fighter that doesn't have a lot of fans.
Still wasteful spending.
Any way you slice it. In a related story, that same Shakur Stevenson wants O'Shaquie Foster to prove himself at 135 before they fight.
Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. So you don't want to fight Rayo, and you don't want to fight O'Shaquie.
That's the view of Shakur Stevenson, who Foster desperately wants to fight after outpointing the Newark native's friend Raymond Ford to retain the WBC junior lightweight title earlier this year. Foster hoped that victory would lead to a clash with Stevenson, the Ring Magazine and WBO 140-pound champion who signed with Zuffa Boxing in July. Stevenson, however, wants to see more from the 32-year-old Texan. I would love to fight Foster, Stevenson admitted on Cigar Talk. I just want my credit when I beat him. Y'all see that I'm a lot bigger than him. If I fight him right now and he comes up to 135, are y'all gonna say that he's a 130-pounder? If he went up to 135 and proved himself, then he's no longer a 130-pounder. He will be a 135-pounder. Then it would make a lot of sense. He did not prove himself at 135. At one point, Foster thought he had Stevenson cornered, heading into his December 2025 clash against Stephen Fulton. Foster was supposed to defend his 130-pound title. However, after Fulton blew weight by 2 pounds, the WBC arbitrarily sanctioned their bout for the lightweight interim belt. Stevenson at the time held the full version of the strap. Foster easily won that interim belt by UD. Instead of sticking it out at 135 and demanding a shot at Stevenson, Foster opted to vacate the title and head back down in weight. Stevenson was stripped by the WBC soon after he beat Teofimo Lopez to become a 4-weight world champion in the main event of Ring 6 on January 31st. Still, Stevenson 25-0 with 11 KOs doesn't feel as though Foster is serious about fighting him. This past Saturday night at Virgin Hotels in Vegas, William Zepeda, who Stevenson beat in July of the previous year, and Lamont Roach battled it out for the vacant WBC title. Zepeda easily outworked and dominated his man to become a world champion. From Stevenson's point of view, if Foster wanted to fight him that badly, he should have held on to the interim title and forced his hand. He had the opportunity to fight for the WBC at 135. Stevenson continued, he should have been in the position that Lamont Roach was in.
These are just my thoughts.
Bitch.
I'm not pressed to see O'Shaquie Foster fight Shakur Stevenson, even if he's pressed to fight him, because Shakur wins, and I think Shakur wins quite easily.
Bitch.
I would be more interested to see O'Shaquie stay in his own division, where he's still a world champion, to unify titles with Emmanuel Navarrete. For me and my money, that's a more fan-friendly fight with a better aesthetic, and it makes for a more competitive fight than him versus Shakur. So when I say what I'm about to say, it's not that I'm protesting Shakur Stevenson not fighting O'Shaquie. I don't actually care if he doesn't fight O'Shaquie.
I'm saying that Shakur Stevenson is not worth the money they're paying him.
These fighters seem to have it in their heads that after you've collected a certain number of belts or become a champion in a certain number of divisions, that you have certain entitlements, that you're supposed to be paid a certain way, when that's not the truth, and that's not how the market works.
You can have as many belts as you like. If people don't pay to see you fight, don't buy your pay-per-views,
You're not a draw. Not by default. I remember the Olympic double gold medalist Guillermo Rigondeaux in the super bantamweight division who at the time really was the best super bantamweight in the world.
But he couldn't draw flies to shit with his fights. He was a pure boxer, and you know how that goes.
Shakur is more or less the same way. So how long do you think it'll take Dana White and the good people over there at Zuffa to experience buyer's remorse?
I never said he wasn't a good fighter. I never said he wasn't accomplished. I never said he wasn't good at what he does. He's good at it. He's just not entertaining. Moreover, he's entitled.
He's turning his nose up at a Rayo fight, turning his nose up at an Oshaki Foster fight. So my question is, who do you want to fight?
More of that token American exceptionalism.
While American boxing fans, boxing tribalists, continue to make excuses for it, I saw a resident moron, Curtis Schoon.
Fucking idiot.
He was taking shots at Naoya Inoue again, saying, Inoue is a DEI fighter, period. On top of that, he does nothing for the sport.
What do you mean he does nothing for the sport? He put 55,000 asses and 55,000 seats at the Tokyo Dome. More than once.
Make him a headliner outside of Japan, I dare Top Rank.
Why would they do that if he sells massively over there? How about you make these Americans fight outside of America and see what they draw?
Curtis continued, that's tantamount to making Kambosos a headliner outside of Australia.
Thinks he's saying something. The fact of the matter is, Naoya Inoue holds the 4th highest selling gate in boxing history. The 4th. Not Gervonta Davis. Not Shakur Stevenson. Not Devin Haney. Not Deontay Wilder. Not any of these Americans that he likes to put on a pedestal.
Not out of this current crop.
So why is he so mad at Naoya Inoue? Because he's a racist.
He looks down on Asians in a very general sense, thus he looks down on Asian fighters. So he's always taking shots at one who's more accomplished than anybody he likes out of this current crop, in this era.
He calls him a DEI hire because that's what people say about you.
Because, let's be honest, Curtis, we all know who benefits from that shit more than anybody else. How does this tie into the Shakur Stevenson stuff? Naoya Inoue's fight purses are generated organically from his fans, the people who support him, pay to see him fight. That's where the money comes from. He doesn't need a Saudi bag to make what he's making.
But Shakur does. So does Devin.
So does Gervonta. The baseline for a Gervonta Davis fight is at or around 200,000 pay-per-view buys, which is not a lot and doesn't pay a lot.
That's why those guys aren't on the Forbes list. But Inoue is. That's why those guys don't have the 4th highest gate. But he does.
Is this supposed to be rage bait? Are you engagement farming so that Elon can pay you a couple of nickels for your monetized Twitter account? Because you didn't get that many hits.
Or are you just tweeting stupid shit because you're stupid?
The point being, guys like Naoya Inoue are not the problem. It's guys like Shakur, guys like Devin, guys like Gervonta. They're the problem.
You're the problem.
Because for as much as he likes to put American fighters on a pedestal, the other day he admitted to stealing Errol Spence Jr.'s fight.
He admits to not supporting Asian boxers, but apparently he doesn't support American ones either. So what's this guy good for?
Not a goddamn fucking thing. Nothing. 62 years old with so much to say, tantamount to a digital shoplifter.
You're the reason that Bodega's got those mirrors on the top corners of the store.
Hurry up and buy.